Hi, I'm Joseph Patrick Daniels, and today I'm going to show you a technique to create traditional portrait lighting. If you found this video on YouTube, this exercise is part of a larger course I teach on traditional drawing that I've created for beginners, how to draw from beginner to master. It's available online on demand, so if you'd like to watch a preview of the course, just click the link below and it will take you to my site. We touched on lighting and basic photography in this last lesson, so I'd like to take a moment to give you a quick tutorial on creating standard form lighting for all of your subject matters in the future. This lesson is based on a technique developed by Rembrandt. In fact, this lighting technique is commonly called Rembrandt lighting or three-quarter lighting. One of the most important aspects of creating a painting is knowing how to light your subject. The good news is that this is a quick and easy process, and the same technique can be used whether it's a live model or a bowl of fruit, and regardless of whether you plan on photographing it or painting it from life. Form lighting does two things. First, it breaks the image up into smaller shapes. That helps immensely because it's a lot easier for your brain to handle smaller tasks, like filling in a simple shape, than thinking about a whole face. As you can see when I flatten and vectorize the image, these simple shapes are enough to make your eye recognize the subject's face. The second thing form lighting does is give the subject structure. In other words, it makes the subject's face seem three-dimensional. It does that by casting a shadow on one side of the face, a highlight on the other side, and breaking the midtones into manageable shapes. One of the reasons the images in this course are much easier to draw and paint than what most of you are used to is because they were photographed with the intention of being painted. In fact, if you look closely, you'll find that every image in this course was taken using this exact same lighting setup, whether it's a steel kettle or a grapefruit. It provides ideal lighting for any subject matter, and it's great for both painting and drawing. But form lighting doesn't just give a subject matter the appearance of depth and structure. It adds drama and ensures that your image has a full range of values from bright highlights to dark shadows, as well as a broad range of midtones, all placed perfectly. It's the secret to setting up a successful painting right from the start, and it can cost almost nothing if you have a smartphone and a bright light bulb. I'm going to use a live subject for my example in this lesson because it's the most complex version of this concept you'll encounter, and it will give me the opportunity to show you how to easily create perfect portrait lighting as well. I'll begin by showing you the technique using nothing but a smartphone and a 100-watt light bulb. Then I'll show you an optimal setup using professional lighting equipment. But at this point, the cameras in our smartphones are so capable of producing good quality, high-resolution photos that either way really isn't a compromise. To light a subject for your smartphone, all you'll need is a standard directional desk lamp with a 100-watt light bulb in it, or the LED equivalent. Notice as I move the light around, the shadow falls across her face, breaking her features up into shapes, emphasizing the various planes in her face, giving you plenty of angles and landmarks to use to your advantage. But when I bring it directly in front of her face, it flattens her features out the way the direct flash from a camera would. That may look good for a school photo, but it makes a bad subject for a painting because there's no planes or structure to work with. That's why you should never try to paint from a photo taken with a flash. The ideal place to direct your light is above your subject to the left or right, so that 3/4 of the surface is lit and 1/4 is in shadow, hence the name three-quarter lighting. You'll know you've done it right when you see this triangle below her eye, this shadow under her lip, and highlights here on her nose, forehead, and cheek. This combination of shadows and highlights starts to give the image dimension and form. But notice the shadow on her face is extremely contrasted and dark. In order to complete Rembrandt's equation and create true form lighting, you need to use a fill light on the right side of her face to highlight the features inside the shadow. You won't need another light to do this. In fact, it's best done with any white sheet or board. For example, I'm using this sheet of foam core because it's so large it does a good job of filling in the shadow and reducing the overall contrast. The way this fill light works is simple. It bounces the direct light wherever you want it to go, creating what's called diffused light. But you don't need a panel that large to create this effect. You can just as easily use a sheet of plain white paper. Just hold it up to your subject to achieve a perfect rim light effect, accenting their jawline and the side of their nose. Now that the lighting is set, all you have to do is take a photo with your smartphone. There aren't any specific settings I suggest. However, I do strongly urge you to avoid using filters if you plan on printing the image. Filters look good on screen, but tend to reduce the image quality when printed. Do you recognize this lighting setup from the kettle I explained earlier in the lecture? Here's the main light source placed at 3/4 on the left, and here's the sheet of foam core creating a reflected fill. And this is the setup I would use to achieve the same results using professional lighting equipment. The strobe is the main light source, breaking the subject's face up into 3/4, a highlight, midtone, and shadow. And it's bouncing off the foam core, creating a fill light that accents the rim of her jawline. It's the basic form lighting you would find on the standard cue ball used as the fundamental training model in any beginner art course. As you can see when the images are overlapped, the shadow side is on the right, taking up about 1/3 of the space, the highlight is on the left, and the midtones take up about 2/3 of the area. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great tips on traditional drawing and painting techniques. And visit my online art school, the Beginner to Master Art Academy, if you'd like to preview the full course, as well as oil and acrylic painting courses for both beginners and experienced artists. Start your journey today.